Hey guys, how's it going? I know it's a little early, but I'm just gonna get things started up and you know, uh, let people join and stuff. So feel free to write me questions and shit stuff, and let me know what you think. We'll get started here in a little bit. And take it easy on me. I'm still learning, so don't kill me too much. Sorry, I don't have an intro or anything yet either. So haven't gotten all that fancy stuff done yet. I got to make a banner and an intro and uh, you know, all the stuff that comes with making a podcast. I'm just trying to get this started and get myself motivated to do everything. So, hope you guys enjoy it. I look forward to chatting and talking with y'all about fantasy sports. Give me 1 second. Just about time to get started. You never know how long a minute is until you are waiting like 5 minutes for things to happen. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I was just throwing my name out there to see if anybody wants to join me. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking to myself, and that'll be interesting. So, how's it going? My name's Jason. I'm a huge fantasy football player, fantasy football watcher. Um, I really love it, and I love talking about it. So, I decided to start my own podcast. I know a lot of the guys that do podcasts. I'm in a few leagues with some of them, and they really got me interested in podcasting and doing it myself. So I'm going to attempt to do my own podcast. Try to be like the cool kids. Did not mean that to throw out their their chat name, but it kind of worked out that way. Um, So a little bit about me. I've been playing in fantasy football for since about 2004, and really started Dynasty Football at about 2006. So I've been doing it a while, and I'm in quite a few leagues. All my leagues now are Dynasty. I'm not in any redraft leagues anymore. So I have 15 Dynasty leagues right now. I pared that down a little bit because I was doing 27 last year, and that got a little crazy. Couldn't do that. So I pared it down to 15. MFL is my favorite site to play on right now. I do have a couple outside of MFL just because I like the way the league's set up. So, yeah, that's my fantasy football career. I've been playing a long time. Been watching podcasts and listening to other people talk, and I decided I wanted to be able to talk and let people know what I think. So, so today I just decided I'm going to run down my quarterback tiers and just let you guys know where I would place the quarterbacks and how I feel about them in general. So you can definitely let me know what you think in the chat or whatnot. I have no problems with constructive criticism. So, yeah, definitely let me know what you think. So we're just going to start with my tier one. Obviously, at the top, you have Patrick Mahomes. He's just been the most consistent quarterback for, what has it been, 3 years now? And, he has high yardage games, high touchdown games, not a lot of interceptions. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. So, he's just a consistently high fantasy scorer. So you can't go wrong with him. He's generally going number one in startups, in superflex leagues. Maybe not so much in non-superflex, but I've still seen him go pretty high in non-superflex leagues. I do all my stuff on superflex because that's the league I play in the most. So generally, if I'm ranking him up there high because of superflex. I actually put Josh Allen as my second in the same tier as Mahomes. I know that's kind of out there for some people, but with what he showed last year, I mean, he's coming into his own. And I think if he does another year like he did last year, there's no argument that he's in that same tier. I mean, he even has more rushing than Mahomes does. So, I put him up there, and I would not hesitate to take him second. In fact, I did. I just did a startup Superflex league, and I took Josh Allen second overall in the Superflex. That's how much I am behind this statement that I think he's right up there. And then I didn't want to, just because I wasn't happy with how he played last year, but Lamar Jackson is in that tier too, and he's the third guy. Just because of that rushing floor. I mean, 1,000 yards rushing, you can't drop him down just because of that. The passing scares me. I really hope he improves in the passing game because he's got the talent and he's got the stuff. I've seen him make throws that are good throws. Like his rookie season, or not his rookie season, but the second season, he was making some throws, but this last year he didn't make the throws like he was before. So, but with that rushing floor, you just can't drop him any more than that. So yeah, that's my tier one. My tier one is Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. So I know people are like, well, Mahomes is better than everybody and Josh Allen shouldn't be up there. But the way I'm looking at the fantasy football stuff right now, I would take any one of these guys at the top. Like if I didn't get the number 1 pick and I missed out on Mahomes, I wouldn't be super sad because I would just take Josh Allen number 2 or Lamar Jackson number 3. Like I would be totally happy with them. Not going to bother me one bit. Still, it will probably take Josh Allen plus to get Mahomes, but I'm not paying that. I will sit back and take Josh Allen and take the points that he gives me. So in my tier 2, at the top of that tier, I have Dak Prescott. Just because he was on pace to do some crazy things. Like the pace he was on before he got hurt was insane. I know he wasn't going to keep that up all year, but I don't think he would have slowed down a whole lot more. I mean, now with CeeDee Lamb coming in and being good and Gallup and Amari Cooper, I mean, he has a stocked talent pool there, and I don't really see him slowing down unless this ankle thing is more of an issue. But, I think it was a clean break, and he should recover pretty well from it. So I see him just picking up where he left off and taking that team on to bigger and better things, especially with all that wide receiving talent he's got around him. After Dak, I have Kyler. More so because that's the general thought, and with his rushing floor, you kind of got to put him up there. I have my questions about him as well. I would not pick Kyler in the top 3 like some people are. I'm just not that sold on him. I would take Dak over him. The only thing Kyler's got is he's a little bit younger and didn't get hurt last year, but I think Dak's a better thrower. So, I got to see more from Kyler. I got to see more of those throws. And I'm not as fascinated with the running quarterbacks as other people are. Like, I like the guys that can throw the ball. Those guys do just as good. They might not do as good because of the rushing, but and then below Kyler, I have Justin Herbert. I would have put Justin higher with the rookie season he had because he was a rookie and he did that, but he doesn't have the rushing that other quarterbacks do. So I don't know how far higher he can go. He had a really good season last year, and I mean, if he's not adding rushing touchdowns and rushing yards to his throwing stats, I don't know how much higher he can go. I mean, he was already at 4,000 yards last year as a rookie. So, I guess he could throw for more and more touchdowns, but without that rushing, I just don't see how much higher he can go. But I'm still not worried at all with his points or how much he's scoring. So, yeah. So I have him behind Kyler. And then I have Joe Burrow, who's next. I know he got hurt and we didn't really see a lot from him. Not as much as we saw from some of the other guys, but just with the way the Bengals have been stocking up those offensive players and with all the things that I saw that he could do, like he made good throws. He was making good decisions. He was being that elite quarterback that everybody was touting him to be when he went number 1 overall to the Bengals. So I can really see him picking it up and doing a lot better. Like I can see you getting your return on him. He was actually my second pick in that super flex league. I traded up to 109 to get him. And then I traded him away, and I feel really dumb about that. So, oh, well, you live, you learn. I should have kept him, but I didn't, and now I feel it. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me and he doesn't show me up. And then I kept him in this tier just because of his talent, but with the legal issues that he's having, I have Deshaun Watson at the bottom of tier 2. I mean, if he doesn't get suspended and he plays all 16 games and everything's fine and nothing happens with all this legal issues, he's at the top of the list. He's pushing to be in tier 1 with the rest of those guys. He's that talented. He's that good. So, yeah. But with all this legal issue, man, I can't put him up there right now. Not until all this is sorted out and we know what's going to happen with him. So, it sucks because he's uber talented and he should be up there with those other guys, but I'm not going to put him there until all this stuff is taken out. He's dropped down considerably. I mean, I'm still taking him like quarterback 8. Well, I didn't put the rookies in here. I did the rookies in their own thing. So the rookies aren't in this tier system. So, I mean, I might take Trevor Lawrence over him just because of the issues, but, I'm still iffy on if Trevor Lawrence is going to be the Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning that everybody thinks he's going to be. So that's kind of a wait and see for me. That's why I didn't put him in here, because I didn't know where to put him in here. Like, I put where I would slide him in, but, that might change just based on what I see when they come into the league and where they get drafted. I mean, we're pretty much assuming Trevor's going to Jacksonville, but you never know. Teams have done dumber things. And then that drops down to my tier 3, which is getting into the older quarterbacks who are still uber talented, but you don't know how many more years they have left. Sad to say, I got a lot of flack from one of the guys I'm working with here. I'm actually on orders with the Army in Jeff City, but one of the guys, I was telling him how I was going to do this podcast, and I was showing him my rankings, and he was yelling at me because I had Aaron Rodgers in tier 3, and Aaron Rodgers should be the number 1 quarterback. I feel like him and who is it? I can't think of who it is right now, but I know there's one of the podcast guys I listen to who's hardcore. Aaron Rodgers is still the best in the league. And I feel like my buddy thinks the same thing, but he's getting older, and, I don't know how much longer he's going to be in Green Bay, and he's actually not even at the top of tier 3. I have Russell Wilson ahead of him just because Russell Wilson still does amazing things. Like, yeah, he slows down in the second half of the season, but at that first half of the season, he is so efficient with his throws. Like, he doesn't get a lot of throws. They don't do a lot of passing, but he is so efficient when he's throwing with his touchdowns and his yardage. So I think that he's going to get better. And he still has that bit of rushing ability, Russell Wilson doesn't look to run, but he can run if he needs to. And with that offensive line, he definitely needs to. So I have Russell Wilson ahead of Aaron Rodgers still. I know. Bad Jason. But it's just Aaron Rodgers' age and how much that team is not putting weapons around him. And, it's like they don't even like him. So they just deal with him because he's the best thing that they got. So after Russell Wilson, I have Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, he's getting older. Not sure about the team. Not sure about the talent around him. Hopefully they draft a wide receiver this year. And then below him, I have Tua, just because of the hype and because we still haven't seen him do it for a full year uninjured. He still got banged up last year. He still had lingering injury issues. He was getting benched for Fitzpatrick and all this baloney. So I want to see him do it for a full year. They got some better wide receivers out there. They got Will Fuller. They got Devontae Parker. Hopefully, now I'm going to have to look it up because I can't think of that dude's name. Hold on. Give me a second. I will think of it. What is his name? Sorry. I don't know why I can't think of his name. Preston Williams. Hopefully Preston Williams can come back and be the guy that a lot of people thought he was going to be. Yeah. Thank you, cousin. Thank you, cousin Vito. It was Preston Williams. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. I don't know why I was blanking on his name, but yeah, definitely. I would love to see him come back and be good. I like him. So yeah, like I said, I want to see Tua do it for a full year, no injuries, with some more help on the team. And, I think that he can actually live up to the hype that he had coming in, that it was either him or Burrow going number one. So then after that, I dropped down to tier 4, just because these guys have some questions. At the top is Baker Mayfield. He's my quarterback 12. He did good last year. I mean, he showed something last year. So I'd like to see another year of him doing that. But with what he showed me last year, he's at the top of this list of guys with question marks. We also see what happens with OBJ and all that issues and stuff. But with the guys he's got around him, I think he can do good again this year. So if I see it for another year, he's definitely here, and he might move up to tier 3 with those other guys. Below him, I have Carson Wentz, because I think that Philadelphia situation was the problem. I think it just wasn't good in Philadelphia. There was a lot of issues there. The team lost faith in him. He lost faith in the team. Just all that stuff just got in his head and made him not do so good. I mean, because we've seen him be a top tier guy. We've seen him be close to that number 1 quarterback in the NFL. And I think he can still do it. And he went to a good place. Indianapolis has good coaching staff, has good offensive line. They got a young running back. They got wide receivers in T.Y. Hilton. And, oh my gosh, I am going to blank out on so many names right now that it's not even funny. This is what happens when you get nervous. Michael Pittman Jr. Trying to get it before Cousin Vito got it for me. Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr. They got T.Y. Hilton. They still have some good guys as their number 3s too. And then you got Jonathan Taylor, and I don't know if they've dropped Marlon Mack yet, but they might have Marlon Mack come back. And then they have Nyheim Hines there, who's a great pass-catching running back. So I think Carson Wentz is going to do great in Indianapolis. Yeah, so if he has another year like he did when he was talked about as the MVP, then I think you could see him jump up a tier 2, tier 3. I don't think I would put him up there at tier 2 yet, but he might. I mean, depends on how good he does. And then below Carson Wentz, I have Jalen Hurts. Just because, again, he's rushing. I don't know about his passing, but at the end of the season, he was doing good, and he got the start over Carson Wentz, and Philadelphia felt good enough in him that they traded away Carson Wentz. So I definitely need to see more from him. That rushing floor, though, you can't knock it. I mean, the rushing floor in fantasy football is almost godsend. Your quarterback can be horrible, but if he's got that rushing floor, then he's still a good fantasy producer. I mean, look at Mitch Trubisky. There were still times where he was a good fantasy producer, even though he was not throwing the ball that great or anything, just because of that rushing. And then below Jalen Hurts, I have Matthew Stafford. I might move him up. I just want to see how he clicks with the new team. I know he's got a lot of offensive firepower around him, and his new head coach is like offensive guru. So he'll probably move up, but right now I just want to see how he meshes with that new team and how McVay is going to use him going forward. And he's getting up there in age too. I mean, he's not young, and he's had his share of injury issues. So Pardon me, we're having technical difficulties. And of course, on my first episode, my camera decides to bug out. There it goes. I don't know what happened there. It said it came unplugged, but it didn't come unplugged. Sorry about that. Technical issues. Gotta love them. Below Matthew Stafford, I had Ryan Tannehill. Just because, I mean, he's done it for like 3 years now in Tennessee. Like, he's been good, and he's definitely underrated. I mean, he was up there around 360 fantasy points last year. That's nothing to shake a stick at. That's pretty good. So, he's in amongst these guys that have question marks, are getting older, that kind of thing. But, I'd still be happy to have him. I think I do have him as a quarterback 1 on a Superflex league. I have him and Cousins, and he's my 1 and Cousins is my 2. I'm not worried about my quarterbacks in that league. The rest of the team is horrible, but that team is bad. But I'm working on fixing that. I got a lot of draft picks this year, so hopefully I can bring that team up. And then below Ryan Tannehill, Cousins. Same reason. He's perennially underrated. He has good seasons. He's generally in like the top 10, top 12 quarterback. He's got good wide receivers there in Minnesota. I mean, he's got 2 of the best wide receivers in the league there. Well, Adam Thielen's getting older, but still. He's been good. He was good last year, so I'd like to see another year of Kirk Cousins and see what he can do on that team. And then below Kirk Cousins, I have Jared Goff. I know everybody hates on Jared Goff, but he took the Rams to a Super Bowl. He's not horrible. He's not that great. That's why he's in the middle tier, because he's so-so. And, he's good to have as your second QB. I mean, he'll get you points. He'll win you games some weeks. He'll lose you games some weeks. But that's what you want out of a QB2. You want a guy that's going to be, you want your QB2 to be more consistent. But I think that when he's on a team that's happy to have him, and maybe there's not that, that he was having problems meshing with McVay. So hopefully on the new team, new coaching staff, he'll get a little pep in his step. They do have some work to do at wide receiver, but maybe they'll draft a couple of guys. They got some draft picks for Stafford, so they can always stack up the shelves around Jared Goff. And then that ends my tier 4. Tier 4 is pretty big because there's a lot of guys, that are kind of interchangeable, like Ryan Tannehill and Baker Mayfield. I would probably prefer Baker just because of the age and just because I think he's a little bit more talented, but you'd be happy with either one. Carson Wentz will probably move up once I see how he does on Indianapolis, but, you got to see what he does. So, yeah, tier 4 is a little big, but I think there's a lot of good guys there, a lot of good guys you'd be happy to have on your team and being your second or third QB. Tier 5 are some of the guys that are getting older, and some of the younger guys that still have a lot of question marks around them. So at the top of my tier 5, I have Daniel Jones. We have seen him be good. Like, I want him to be good because I want everybody who's like dogging him for being the 6th pick. He didn't choose to be the 6th pick in the draft. The New York Giants chose him to be the 6th pick in the draft. So I don't know why everybody's giving him a hard time for being ranked that high. So I want to see him do good, and we've seen it from him. It's been flashes. It hasn't been pretty, but we've seen him, and maybe with Saquon being healthy for a full year, they got Kenny Galladay, so they got a true number one now. Sterling Shepard was good. He's not a number one wide receiver. He's a good number two when he's on the field. He's also never healthy. So, you gotta be on the field and you gotta be good. He's good. He's just not. He's not that. He's not that number one guy. So they got Galladay, who he's getting up there. He's a little older, but I still think he's a good number one guy. So you put him across there with Sterling Shepard and the other guys they got there, and maybe they draft somebody. And then you have Saquon there for a full year. I think Daniel Jones can prove some people wrong. Then he might jump up a couple of tiers. If he has a good season, he might jump up to tier 3. I could see that, especially if like Tua and a couple of those guys and new teams don't do good, or a couple of these older guys start to slow down. He could definitely jump up there. Below Daniel Jones, I have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan can be good, but he's getting older. He's inconsistent. He's not the superstar quarterback that maybe everybody thought he was when he first started, and he was kind of showing people that he was a really good quarterback, but he's definitely inconsistent. Or maybe I should say he's more consistently mediocre. I think he's more consistently mediocre than he is great. But hopefully he still does some stuff there at Atlanta. We'll see how this year goes, but also not sure how much longer he's going to be there in Atlanta. So they might be looking at a quarterback as soon as this year. So definitely worried about his longevity, and he would definitely be like my quarterback 3 at most. And below him, I have Derek Carr, just because I think he can be good again. He's shown flashes where he can be good. He did good last year. Like, he scored some fantasy points last year. I was surprised at how good he was, because I was trying to trade a. I was definitely trying to trade Tannehill to a team in a Superflex league for Carr in a first round, and they're like, "Nah, I'll just stick with Carr because he's about the same." And he was about the same in fantasy points. I mean, he was like 300 and something. So, it's whatever. So I think Derek Carr can be good. I'd like to see another year of it. And then below Derek Carr, I have Tom Brady. Thank you, Purple. Tom Brady's been good, but he's getting old. And eventually, age catches up to everybody. I'm hoping it's this year, because I really don't like Tom Brady. I know I'm supposed to be unbiased, but he just rubs me the wrong way. So, if it wasn't for his age, I'd probably have him higher on this list. But and then below Tom Brady, I have Drew Lock, just because he's been definitely inconsistent. And hold on 1 second. Sorry, I have a slight interruption. I will be right It's harder to do this podcast thing when you're by yourself. And obviously, I'm not at my house. I'm in a hotel room right now, so can't always keep people from knocking at your door. So I apologize for that bad podcasting form, but can't just let it go on and not take care of it. So anyway, I was at Drew Lock. He is in my tier 5. He's below Tom Brady. As soon as this takes off, I will hire somebody. So I have Drew Lock below Tom Brady. He's shown flashes of a good play. He's had those games where he's had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's had those games where he's thrown for like 150 yards and no touchdowns. So he's very inconsistent. Definitely needs to work on that. I know we keep giving him excuses because of the COVID and he hasn't had a full off season, and then he got hurt last year. And then also his wide receiver has been hurt a lot. Courtland Sutton has been hurt. So, maybe with Courtland Sutton there and Jerry Jeudy in a full year with the whole team and he doesn't get hurt, we'll see him come to his full potential. I would like a Mizzou quarterback to do good at some point as a Missouri guy. It'd be nice. I know we have the perennial backup Chase Daniels, who's always on everybody's want list for a backup quarterback, but it'd be nice to have somebody who's a top tier guy. So I'm hoping Drew Lock can turn it around and definitely be the guy that the Broncos thought he was going to be when they made him the starter, and see how that goes. Jimmy G, I still have him on the list. I know he might not be in San Francisco anymore, but I think he gets a starting job somewhere. At least I think he starts the season in San Francisco. Maybe he doesn't finish the season there, but I think he's going to be the starter there to start the season. And they play good with him. Like, he might not be the best fantasy quarterback, but when he's on the field, they win games. I know a lot of it had to do with the defense being hurt last year, but still, there's times when he can win them games and there's times when he doesn't. But he's definitely got the accuracy, and there's a lot of question marks about where he'll be, if he'll be a starter anywhere, or if he'll just go back to being a backup somewhere. But I definitely know that the team is better when he's playing. So, and then at the bottom of the list, I have Sam Darnold and Jameis Winston. I flip-flop on these two guys. I don't know which way to put them. If Jameis is the starter in New Orleans, we've seen him be a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He had those years in Tampa Bay where he was lighting it up, 400-yard games and 3 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. So if you play in a league that knocks you for interceptions, he's probably not your guy, because he'll definitely throw interceptions. And maybe Sean Payton can work that out of him. Who knows? I don't think Bruce Arians was really the guy to try to work that out of somebody. He likes his gunslinger quarterbacks. So, when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ben was that gunslinger guy throwing it all the way down the field, and he threw a lot of interceptions. Not as many as Jameis, but he still threw a lot of interceptions. And then Sam Darnold in Carolina, I think he can still be good. Hell, he's still younger than some of the guys that are coming in this year. He's younger than they are. And he's been in the league for 3 years. So I'm sorry. Is the picture crooked? It's a hotel room, so. And thank you for that, Purple. I can't even tell if the picture is crooked. Now we're talking about pictures. I think in Carolina, Sam Darnold has a chance to be better. He's got Christian McCaffrey. He's got DJ Moore. He's got other wide receivers there. I know they got rid of Curtis Samuels, which he would have been good to keep around, but I'm sure they'll find somebody else to be across from him. And Sam Darnold has a chance to be good. I still think he can be good. I still think he can live up to the hype of a first-round pick. So, I struggle with where to put these two. I know they're towards the bottom of this tier, but if either one of them does anything good this year, they'll move up quickly. They have the talent. They have the age on their side. I think they can move up quickly if they start playing more to their potential than they have been. I have a couple honorable mentions that I didn't put in any tiers because I don't know about them. I might roster them on a super flex team. Like if I'm at the end of the round and I don't see any more good wide receivers or running backs, I might throw them on my team just in case. But I have Cam Newton, Jordan Love, Gardner Minshew, and Dwayne Haskins. Cam's getting older. His body's giving out on him. I don't know. He didn't do so great in New England, but maybe that was just because it was New England. Maybe he can go somewhere else, or if New England wants to start him again, he can play better. But I definitely know he had issues last year in New England, and he was not very good. But you never know. That might also been because he got signed so late and all that jazz. But so we'll see how he does this year. He is getting older. He has had a lot of injuries, and he has that smash mouth he's that smash mouth quarterback. He just wants to knock people over. So quarterbacks like that don't last as long. Tom Brady's out here at 45 still doing it, and Cam's not even close to that age, and he's starting to break down just because of how he plays the game. Jordan Love obviously got drafted in the first round by Green Bay, and they drafted him just like they drafted Aaron Rodgers, so maybe they know something we don't know about him. But he's still going to sit for at least this year and maybe another year, so I might stash him if I have you won't be able to stash him after this year on a taxi squad, but I might not throw him on a team just because he's not starting anytime soon, but he might be somebody to keep an eye on, if Green Bay does get rid of Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Rodgers decides he wants to not go to Green Bay again. They don't really have much behind him besides Jordan Love, so we'd have to see how that works out. Gardner Minshew. He's had good games when he was starter in Jacksonville, and he had some crappy games. He's very inconsistent too, but somebody might start him somewhere. I doubt it with all the new talent that's come into the quarterback. I mean, we've already talked about 25, 6, 7, 8, 9 quarterbacks. So Jimmy G was in my tier 5. He was actually above Darnold and Winston. So I did talk about him. He was right below Drew Lock and Tom Brady. I definitely think Jimmy G can be good and have probably start somewhere. But anyway, back to Gardner Minshew. I don't know. I like his style. He's definitely got that quarterback swag that you want a quarterback to have. He's definitely got that attitude. It's kind of like being a closer pitcher, They got to have a certain attitude to be a closer. They kind of got to think they're king of the walk. And he's definitely got that attitude, that quarterback mentality. So I don't know. I think if he works on it a little bit, he could come back and be a starter somewhere. And then Dwayne Haskins. I only put him on this list because he went to the Steelers. Who knows what's going to happen with Big Ben? Obviously, they signed Dwayne because they saw something They don't have much behind Big Ben. Mason Rudolph is not the answer there. And if Big Ben gets hurt, his arm did not look good last year. As you can see, I don't even have him on my list because I'm not rostering him. I have him on some teams just because he's been on those teams, and I'm not going to drop him because he's still the starter. But I'm not trading for him. I'm not picking him up if he's on the waivers. I just don't trust his arm. I'm a Steelers fan, and I love what he's done for our team, but that arm is not good. It's not right. And I watched games where I didn't see him make a 40-yard pass. And he used to launch him like 60, 70 yards. And now he's struggling to throw it for 39, 40 yards. And it just doesn't look as good. So he's the starter this year, but I don't know. That arm he's going to throw his arm out again, and then Dwayne Haskins is going to be the starter. Because I would definitely start him over Rudolph or whatever else we had. Duck dodges. They just weren't that good. So that's my list of NFL quarterbacks. Obviously, some guys are missing. Drew Brees retired. Pretty sure I got all the starters for all the teams. We don't know who's going to be starting at Washington or the Jets. Don't know what's going to happen with Teddy B after Sam Darnold went to Carolina, but he might go somewhere. Maybe Washington picks him up because they don't feel like drafting somebody So that's my list of guys that are already in the league. As I said, I didn't put my rookies in there yet just because I'm still new to this, so I didn't know where to put the rookies. So I did them separately, and I kind of said, well, I'd slide them in this tier, I think. So don't judge me too harshly on my rookies. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get it. I'm not as seasoned as some of the other people that do this, but I'm getting there. I definitely want to start. I want to do a Devy League. That's my next step. I already do pretty much any configuration of a league you could think of, but I haven't done Devy yet, so that's my next one. So anybody knows any Devy leagues looking for a pro? No, I'm not a pro. I'm definitely not a pro, but I definitely want to try my hand at Devy. So to move on to the rookies, obviously Trevor Lawrence is the number one rookie coming out in this class this year. I watched some film on these guys before this just to be like, yeah, I watch film. I'm a true podcaster. I've done some studying. I watch film. I look at stats. He's definitely the best prospect coming out this year. He has the talent. I don't like to bank on rookies because you just never know. Like Josh Rosen was supposed to be great. All these other guys that have flamed out. Demarcus Russell. I don't remember his name. Russell. All the way back to David Carr. Sometimes they're just put in a bad situation and everything goes downhill. Sam Darnold got put in a bad situation on the Jets, and he just hasn't proven that he can be the guy yet. So you just never know with these rookies. Obviously, you have your rookies like Andrew Luck, and you have your rookies like Dak Prescott when he came in for Tony Romo, or Russell Wilson, who beat out that Green Bay backup quarterback who went to Seattle, but then I don't remember his name. But anyway, that one Green Bay quarterback that had one good game and Seattle signed him, and then Russell Wilson beat him out his rookie season. You have your rookies who do come in and prove. Justin Herbert this year came in and was like gangbusters. Did great. Joe Burrow, before he got hurt, he was doing good things. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not good. It just depends on the situation. If he goes to Jacksonville, I think there's enough there around him that he can be good. And they have some more draft picks to help bolster that team. So I said I would slide him in tier 2. That hurts me. I don't want to put him that high, but I would probably put him in tier 2 above Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson, yeah, he came in and he was good. I would probably slide Trevor Lawrence in above Deshaun Watson. And just because I've seen more for Burrow and Herbert, I wouldn't put him above him yet. Let me see him do the same thing Herbert and Burrow did, and then I'll put him above him. But till then, I'm going to leave him down there before the guy that might not be in the league because of legal issues. But he's definitely the top guy on the rookies list, and you're going to want to draft him number 1 overall in your Superflex rookie leagues or your Superflex leagues in your rookie draft. Now this one I have a question with because I watched film on Justin Fields and I just didn't see it. There was a lot of hesitancy. He was staring people down. I did see it get a little bit better, but he was still missing wide open throws. And I know he's got that rushing floor too, but I'm not as enamored with the rushing as I am with the throwing. Like, I know Josh Allen was like an exception to the rule where he wasn't that good at throwing, and then he came in and he was a rusher, and everybody was like, oh, he's not going to last because he's just a rusher. And then he came out this year and threw the ball all over the yard. But so I still have Justin Fields as a number 2 guy just because I did see a little bit of improvement in some of the later games of 2020. So I would take him. I would probably not take him second in the rookie draft, to be honest. If I'm picking second, I'm taking Zach Wilson. Although if he does go to the Jets, that might give me a little pause for concern because the Jets aren't exactly a good. They're not exactly a good organization, but maybe with Adam Gase gone, they'll be a little bit better. So I have Zach Wilson and Justin Fields about the same. I saw a lot from Zach Wilson in the film I watched that I liked. Saw him make some good plays. I saw him make one play where he did a little sidearm shuffle, and I didn't even know where the ball went. It was a pretty good play. Me, I would probably take Zach Wilson over Justin Fields in my rookie draft, and I might be wrong about that, but I'm going to stick with it. I think he's going to be better. So only time will tell. We'll see where they go, what team they go to, and how that works out. But for me, for what I saw, I like Zach Wilson a little bit better than I like Justin Fields. I think they're about the same. So we'll definitely see how that works out. Now, granted, Justin Fields was going against better competition in Ohio State. He played Penn State and Alabama and stuff. A little bit tougher competition, but I still saw Zach Wilson do some good things. So I think he's going to be good too. Trey Lance, I have next. So I watched some film on him, and he did pretty good. Justin Fields, I slid in tier 3, and Zach Wilson, I slid in tier 4. So I did slide Wilson in a lower tier, but I actually might change that because I might slide them both in the same tier just because I think they're that close. So you know what? Actually, looking at it now, and now that I'm talking to myself about it, I am going to put Zach Wilson in that tier 3 too, right there with Justin Fields, because I think he's going to be good. So look at that. Just talking to myself, I realized I put him in the wrong tier. I mean, talking with you guys and myself. And then after that, Trey Lance, I have Mac Jones, just because if he does go to New England and New England picks him up, that Alabama-New England connection maybe. New England has taken a shot on Alabama quarterbacks before, and I just think that I saw some good things from Mac Jones. And if anybody can make him a good quarterback, it's going to be Bill Belichick. I just have questions, about his talent, overall talent, and we haven't seen a good Alabama quarterback in the NFL yet. So that gives me some pause as to why that's the case, because they're always in the championship. Maybe Tua will change that too. Who knows? And then my sixth quarterback of rookies, I have Kyle Trask. Didn't watch a lot of film on him. He's just always the last guy on this list, so that's where I put him. I need to watch a little bit more film on him. I watched a lot of film on the top guys, so I haven't gotten down the list that far yet to Kyle Trask yet, so I'll have to watch some film on him and see where I would put him. But Trey Lance, I slid into tier 4. Mac Jones, I slid into tier 5. And Kyle Trask, I slid into tier 5. So that's where I put him. Don't know if I'm right or not. Like I said, I'm new, still figuring this stuff out. So, yeah. So that's my quarterback list. That's my tiers. It was really hard to do it. You don't know how hard it is to rank people till you start doing it yourself. And then you're like, oh, yeah, all these guys who do this all the time, they're kind of awesome. So hopefully I'll get better at it. Now that I have some rankings, I'll just be able to put people in and, not have to do it from scratch every time. But I want to appreciate that's my show for tonight. Really want to appreciate you guys for coming in, hanging out, listening to me babble on about quarterbacks and what I think about them. Thanks for the help in the chat, helping me out with names, because I totally blanked on names. So I'm going to have to start writing more stuff down if I'm going to start blanking on stuff. Because I'll just not do that and let y'all laugh at me for blanking on names all the time. Because I don't care if you laugh. I'm having fun. I love talking about football. I love talking about players. I will talk all night long if you want me to. But I'm trying to keep this podcast around an hour, because that seems like a long time to just hear me talk. I wanted to do the first one by myself just so I could get the hang of it, and maybe next time I'll invite some of my friends on or have a guest on who I can bounce this stuff back and forth with. But my first podcast, I wanted to do it myself, and I wanted to see how I would do talking to nobody but myself, with just the chat going on. And I think I did okay. I'm happy with myself. Not to pat myself on the back right now, but I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys got some interesting thoughts out of this. Don't come back too harshly on my Josh Allen up there with Patrick Mahomes bit. And hopefully I'll see y'all again next Thursday. Don't want to miss it. It's going to be just as fun. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do yet. I'll let you find that out later. But it might be another rankings. So who knows? Don't know yet. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you all had a good time. I hope to see y'all again soon. Bye.